Alright, here we go with some more of the house in Fata Morgana, everyone. You know, I never thought we'd make it this far into the story of this visual novel, guys. In fact, to me, this has been the longest visual novel I've played thus far. But it goes to show how interesting it really is because, well, presently, here we are. And I'm enjoying it, guys, and I hope you are too, because we're going to continue from where we last left off, and we'll see how Michel's story turns out from here. So I hope you all continue to enjoy watching. Let's keep it rolling. Alright, guys, and we are back. Don't worry, the dogs didn't have any of these. They didn't seem to be interested in eating them raw. What, you don't want any? Then what am I gonna do with these? You know, Michel, you're such a disgrace. Cry for me, won't you? Beg for mercy. Look at you, all that pride. Gone out the window. It's hilarious, I tell you. She did everything imaginable to torture me, both physically and emotionally. To be honest, it was rather impressive in a sick way, how she was able to come up with so many different ways to torment me. And she knew precisely what caused me the most pain. My body and discrepancy between what I was and what I felt I was. She delighted in telling me I wasn't male, and sometimes in showing me. But I don't think I need to describe the things she did to me in any more detail. I could think of only one way to keep myself from breaking down. I completely stopped talking, stopped struggling. Then one day, after about 6 months or so, she said with a disinterested sigh, "I'm done." And that was the last of it. By swallowing my pride and not resisting, I was able to escape from her grip. Once she was gone, the servants took over attending to me again. I was still in prison, but now there was a serenity in my solitude. I didn't speak with anyone. I didn't make eye contact. I didn't do anything. I just lived. But even though I had peace, I still feared Amy having a change of heart. I trembled at the possibility that one day it might be her that opened the door. But above all, I hated, despised the fact that I lived in such fear of a girl. An overwhelming self-loathing threatened to crush me. I had recurring nightmares about the things Amy had done to me. The wounds she gave me did not heal. They only grew worse, eating away at me day after day. I was beginning to lose confidence in my own sanity in the silent darkness, where there was no sense of time. Excuse me, guys, sorry about that. There's something in my throat, man. Alright. The line between dream and reality blurred. I often found myself screaming, crying into the empty air. I clawed at my skin, pulled at my hair, paced back and forth across the room, pounded at the door, yelling for help. Screamed some more. It was the very image of pitiful, absolute wretchedness. And every time I did, I'm sure there was someone on the other side of that door whispering about how poor Michel had lost her mind. Eventually, I gave up entirely. It was a stormy night in my 16th year. I had been confined for more than 2 years at that point. Heavy rain pounded against the windows like thousands of little spears. I was sitting quietly in my bed, unable to fall asleep, when suddenly there was a loud banging on the door. Michel, are you awake? If you aren't, then hurry up and get awake. We've got big trouble. Lower your damn voice. But... When I first heard my brother's voices after so long, I thought I was hallucinating. In 2 years, they had never once come for me, no matter how hard I pounded on the door, no matter how many times I called for them. And after all that time, I didn't expect that ever to change. I had given up. I assumed they had long since cast me aside. Unable to bring myself to say anything, I simply stared at the door. When there was another bam bam. The sound was half consumed by a crack of thunder, giving it an indescribably eerie quality. Please, say something, Michel. Seriously, there's no time. You can hear us in there, can't you? You're there behind the door, aren't you? Come on, just one word, Michel. Is it really you, Didier? Georges? For a moment, they seemed to be at a loss for words, probably because they almost didn't recognize my voice. But it was only a heartbeat, and then Didier spoke. There's a carriage waiting outside. I'm going to unlock the door so you can leave in it. Why? Because Dad's talking crazy. He's saying the Bollinger family has no need for a demon child, that you're a mark of shame on our name. So he's going to have you executed. Georges! Father wants me dead? It felt like the floor had fallen out from under me. Executed. Demon child. Mark of shame. So he was saying, I didn't even deserve to live anymore. It's planned for tomorrow morning. We only just found out ourselves, which is why we prepared a way for me to escape. But why? Why? Do you even need to ask? Because we're family. Something terrible has gotten into Father. Where the hell were you guys for these past 2 years? I clenched my teeth, fighting back a bitter, angry sigh. But I couldn't keep all those emotions bottled up for long. A maelstrom of feelings I thought I had lost in my 2 years of imprisonment swirled up inside me, spilling from my lips. Why? Why are you doing this now? If you really felt that way, then why didn't you come sooner? 2 years I spent locked in this room. Do you have any idea how I felt in that time? Any idea how hard I had to fight to endure? How many times I cried for your help? How hard I pounded on the door begging to be set free? But never once did you come. Not even once. Michel, I scare you, don't I? You think I've gone insane, that I've lost my mind, that I sold my soul to the devil, don't you? No, Michel, we don't. Then why? Why didn't you come and set me free? Michel, we don't think you've lost your mind at all. So you didn't want to see me then? You didn't want to face what I've become? Tell me I'm wrong, Didier, Georges. You've left me here, abandoned me for 2 whole years, locked me away so you didn't have to see me. I'm sorry, I'm just, really busy with my art. Wow, really? That's your excuse? Holy cow. I've been getting a ton of commissions down at the court. And Didier's a knight, so he's up to his neck in expeditions. I'm really sorry. As am I. I cannot say that you are wrong. After what happened, I wasn't sure how I was supposed to act around you. I'm still not sure, even now. I knew I had to find some time to collect myself, but I kept putting it off, vainly hoping that time would take care of it all. And for that, I owe you an apology. But you need to understand, I do not agree with Father's decision. I do not want to lose you. I don't think you're a demon child, and Georges feels the same. Neither of us want to see you dead. What he said, Michel. There's not much time. We need to get you out of here. I bit down hard on my lower lip, hard enough to draw blood. It was that, or start sobbing. It's a little late for that. Michel, if you don't get out of here, you're going to be killed. If I'm not an angel sent from heaven or a demon child, then what am I? What on earth am I? What are you? You're a Bollinger. You're our family. And that's all there is to it. I pray you can forgive me for averting my eyes for so long. Can I trust you? Can I trust that even if the whole world says I'm cursed, that you'll always be on my side? That you'll always be my brothers? Can I put my trust in you once more, Didier, Georges? You absolutely can, Michel. I swear to God on high. And I swear to God of art. Art? Okay. Michel, I have no other choice, do I? I couldn't talk Father out of it, could I? I would rather you didn't try. He is not a man to change his mind. If you were to show up before him, he would likely draw his sword on you himself. It would destroy Mother. I'm sorry, we're not doing this only for you. Okay, I'll go. Oh, thank goodness. The carriage will take you to a mansion, Michel. It's a property Father purchased some time ago, but due to rumors about the house, it's abandoned. No one wants to buy from him either, and that's unlikely to change. It's the ideal place to keep you out of sight. What kinds of rumors? No point in keeping it a secret. He has a right to know. They say a witch lives there. A witch? I think it's all just made up personally. I went to check the place out and there was no one there. It was a little dreary to be sure. I'd hoped to have a better place arranged for you, but there wasn't enough time. This is only temporary, Michel. I cannot say how long it will be, but father will pass away eventually. When he does, Georges will inherit the estate, and that will mean you can return. So I ask that you hold out until that time. If I don't leave, I'm going to be executed. So send me anywhere. I won't complain. I'm glad to hear you say that. I will talk to father and ensure he does not suspect anything. We'll make this work, don't you worry. The long and short of it is, Dad simply wants you erased from the family. Georges! Sorry. I wasn't trying to be mean. But anywho, once I take over, we're in the clear. You'll be acknowledged as a Bollinger. I see. Okay then. Can I open the door now? Just a minute. Well, you're still not ready? I don't have any clothing. Ah, right. You wouldn't, huh? How tall are you now, Michel? Around the same height as you, I think. Taller than me? Damn! Alright, I'll bring you some of my clothes. Thank you. Wow, I don't think I've ever heard you say thank you without putting up a fight, Michel. That's not true. I don't think. Heh. I'll be back soon. Get what you need together. Alright. See, I want to believe them. I really do. I know he ends up at the manor anyway, obviously, but I want to believe that down the line, when the father passes away, that he'll be able to return, because that's what happened. He sent the letter, and then the witch took over from there. So I don't know if the brothers really are genuine in what they say, what they promised him. I'm hoping down the line, once we get through this part of the story, we'll see a little bit more about what happened to his brothers. Sitting in the carriage, waiting outside, listening to the pitter-patter of the rain, I gazed out at my two brothers. I hadn't seen them in 2 years, but they hardly looked any different than how I remembered them. I was the only one who had changed, and dramatically at that. Looking at them, I couldn't help but remember the old days. Playing chess with Didier, learning to draw from Georges, our sibling outings. However, the ominous sound of thunder crashing in the distance drowned out those memories. The mansion is several days' travel from here. Hopefully the carriage isn't too uncomfortable. I'll send a package with any supplies you need once a month. Food, clothing, and something to pass the time. If there's anything you want, Michel, just tell me. Now, or you can have a servant pass a message on to me. I can think of one thing. I would like a chess set. Alright, I'll have one made. I would rather have yours, Didier. Would that be possible? Are you sure you want that beaten old thing? Yes, I want that one. Alright, I'll include it in the first delivery. I'll send you something too, Michel. Anything you want, just tell me. In that case, I would like some art tools. I'm nowhere near as much of an artist as you are, Georges, so they don't have to be anything special. Gotcha, so some canvas and, but some charcoal. And when you're back, I want to see what you made with it, okay? Okay. I know this is already hard enough on you, Michel, but I need to ask you to do something for me. Avoid making contact with anyone who doesn't already know about you. So, I can't talk to anybody but the servants. Put simply, yes. Tomorrow the world will consider you dead. So we cannot have people finding out you are actually alive. Especially father. Please, do this for me. I've been doing that for 2 years already. I've long since lost interest in interacting with anybody, so you don't need to ask me to keep to myself. Right. Does anyone else know I'm alive? Yes, Mother knows. In fact, this was her idea. It was. She loves you, Michel. She really does. Mom just, is having a little trouble facing the truth. So even though she's not here to see you off, I guarantee you she doesn't want to see you dead. She wants to have you in her life again. I expect Mother will be writing you, so please take the time to write her back. She's a troubled woman, but her love for you is true and unwavering. Will you do that? Just a quick little, hey, got your letter, doing great, will suffice. Alright. Just so you know, it kills me indeed that we can't stand up to Dad. But as long as he lives, his word is God in this house. I understand that, yes. Well, you never know. He could be gone quicker than you expect. A week from now, then bam, he's dead as D's social life. Is there not an ounce of respect in your body? Oh, give me a break. I'm upset. He's gone way too far. And once he dragged his arse off to the great beyond, anything goes. Surprised Michel was alive. Yeah, I suppose. Until then, we'll take care of things here. Tomorrow's gonna be the performance of our lives. Crying like a couple of babies and laughing our tails off inside. You'll forgive me if I have trouble trusting that loose tongue of yours. Psh, I'm not stupid. I know this is important. Not even Amy will suspect a thing. Amy. Yeah, not even she can know. It's gonna crush her, I'm sure, but the less people who know, the better. When Georgia said her name, my whole body went shamefully cold. It had been a year and a half since the hell she put me through, but every last detail of it remained carved into my mind and body. There was no way she would be even slightly sad about my death. She might act it, but she would almost certainly be elated by the news. It seemed Georges had still yet to see what lay beneath the woman's mask. I know you two were close. Huh? Are you worried about how this might affect her? What? She cared for you for about 6 months, didn't she? When you wouldn't let the servants in? What? From what I hear, you got real close to dying in there. You wouldn't even eat unless she was there. Who the hell told you that? What? Is that not what happened? Did something happen between you two, Michel? Amy. Amy didn't do a damn. Never mind. I can't tell them. I can't put what I went through into words. It'll only worsen my shame, especially now in front of my brothers. Georges, how are things between you and Amy? You're still letting what happened 2 years ago get to you. Well, I mean, at the time, things were a total disaster. I'm all excited about getting myself a pretty little wife, only to find out she's rocking the boat with someone else. I cried for weeks. Yeah, I'm sorry. Deep down, though, she ain't actually a bad girl. Oh, yeah, she is. She's young, and kids make mistakes. After it all came out, she turned over a new leaf. No, she did not. She started doting on me, something serious, and well, it's hard not to let one little mistake like that go when she's trying so hard to make up with me. The age excuse doesn't work for Dee, though. For about a year, things were really rough between us. I didn't even want to look at him. But at the end of the day, we're family. We can get past anything. Besides, because you let the cat out of the bag, that gave me something to hold over Dee. All things considered, I'm not complaining. So, you would say you're happy then, Georges? Sure. Sure would, yep. Believe it or not, I'm kinda head over heels for her. Hard not to like a girl like Amy. Oh, you. I really want Michel to just tell them already that she is... Okay, moving on. Oh, I see. Do you really feel that bad about 2 years ago? So she's still keeping up the good girl facade around Georges and Didier. No one else knows she's actually a sadistic, cackling demon. There's nothing less trustworthy in the world than a woman who's always smiling. But if Georges thinks he's happy, I can't take that away from him. Michel? Oh, right, yes. I do feel guilty about the way I lost control of my emotions and took it out on you guys. It happens to everyone. In fact, you could stand to do a little more shouting and fussing. Then you could... Because I have underdeveloped social skills? You heard that? You've got one hell of a nasty streak, huh, D? Ugh. I'm glad to hear you're still on good terms. It wasn't my intention to pit the two of you against each other. We know, the blame falls on my shoulders. I want you to know something, Michel. Though your transformation was too much for Mother and Father to accept, with enough time, everything will go back to the way it was before, just like they did for myself and Georges. Oh, I just realized. He should have told them. He should have told them about how she was treating him, because if the father passed away and he sent the letter, for all we know, the letter was intercepted by Amy herself, or Amy managed to convince the two brothers not to let him back in their lives. Gosh, and that's if she finds out that he's alive. Man, I'm so frustrated. I'm frustrated for Michel, man. None of this is your fault. It was all an unfortunate timing. God's a little bit of a jerk too. Try not to forget I am a knight, Georges. In time? In time. Speaking of which, we don't have much left. I'm gonna tell the coachman to set off, okay? Didier. Yes. Tell me the truth. Will the three of us ever meet again? Why would you ever ask that? Of course we will. Not a chance I'm letting this be our last family get-together. One last question then. Yes? Am I your brother? Well, I mean, look at you. Don't look like much of a sister to me, so I'd say you are. I see. So long then. Farewell. And may good health bless you until we meet again. Until then, Michel. Farewell. Before seeing me off for good, they both gave me strong, firm hugs. Didier first, and then Georges. The warmth I felt in their arms, and my family's arms, slowly spread through my chilled body, which made it that much more difficult to part ways. The wheels of the carriage rattled against the wet stone-paved road. I stuck my head out the window, watching as they shrunk into the distance, standing there in the rain until they were completely out of view. A tightness filled my breast. Every glimmer of hope I had for my new life was matched by an equal degree of darkness and uncertainty. Would I ever make it back home? And if I did, would people still call me a demon child? Having to write mother was another uncomfortable weight on my soul. The thought of having to play a girl for her made me sick. Georges had acted like it would be nothing, but it wasn't that easy. It was more than mere pretend. Didier had said that with time things would change, but how could he be certain that those changes would be for the better? The wooden wheels turned, carrying me away to that cursed mansion. The next thing I know, I'm sinking into a vast void. Darkness cuffs my hands and legs, restricting my movement. Images of the past I had kept buried away for so long stream past me. This isn't how I wanted it to happen. Not coming from my own mouth, but being laid bare for all to see without my consent. That wasn't how I wanted her to find out about my secret, about my shameful history. I warned you, my dear. I told you you didn't want to reclaim your old self. If you had simply let it be, you wouldn't be here now, forced to relive it all. You know, I just realized the witch Morgana is similar to Amy in the way she treats... in the way she treats Michel. Now, do you understand? The tale I spun behind the fourth door was as much for you as it was for her. There, you were a young man with a sad fate, but you met a wonderful woman, fell in love with her, and then died in the arms of tragedy. The sequence of events is not far from the truth, but I was able to turn it into something enchanting and beautiful. I got rid of all the nasty little details. Your ugliness, your body troubles, all of that. Doesn't it seem a bit unfair, Michel? You tore down the walls around Giselle's heart around her past, but you wanted to keep your own nice and safe... you wanted to keep your own nice and safe and hidden away. She has every right to be upset. You were afraid she wouldn't accept you, were you not? And that's precisely what happened. But can you honestly blame her? The truth you've kept hidden away is not something most would be able to accept. The prince who came riding in to save her... Silence! Wasn't actually a man. Please. Enough. I've seen enough. Let it stay buried, please. Just stop this. I don't want to see it. I don't want anything to do with it. What a sad little creature you are, my dear. Not a woman in this world would have any interest in you now. You've surrounded yourself with layer upon layer of walls, covered yourself with this patchwork barely held together, put up masks, and it's the only thing keeping you together. You're the frailest one of all, the weakest, and it's about time you accepted that and stopped trying to fight it. I am not weak. Oh, is that so? Let's proceed with the tale then, shall we? Face the one you hate most in this world, yourself. Your weakness, your ugliness. Face it in despair. No, don't! Again. Once again, my own desires, my own wishes are completely irrelevant. The past sprawls out before me once more. And the witch is exactly right. I despise the man I was then. Teeming with vain hope and foolish dreams. I would rather pretend that part of me never existed. But I have no choice. I'm dragged back into the life I once lived. My pleas for mercy faded into dark nothingness. I couldn't remember how long it had been since the capital had disappeared into the distance, but I had been on the road for some time now. We had long since left paved roads behind. The carriage rocked back and forth as it proceeded down the rough dirt path. For hours I stared through the window as unfamiliar scenery flowed past. Eventually, a fog settled over the area, making it difficult to discern night from day. We made our way through the dark, dense woods, and beyond them, like the world fading into view after a dream, a mansion appeared before us. All the windows were either shuttered or boarded, encasing the house in darkness. In a way, it felt like all I had done was move from one prison to a much larger one. Briefly, I thought they had possibly been sealed to keep anyone from seeing me inside, but my coming here was a very recent development. More likely then, the house had been in this condition when it was initially purchased. Quite the piece of property my father had found himself with. I wondered if he had been swindled by its previous owner. It was a gloomy, uninviting place, but it didn't appear to be in disrepair. The coachman left my luggage outside the door, gave me an empty farewell, and then went on his way. I was entirely alone. I spent some time just staring out at the forest, but naturally there was nothing of interest to be found there. So I quietly turned around and opened the door to the mansion. It's certainly dark. I could barely even see my own feet. Briefly, I considered trying to unshutter a window or two, but ended up deciding against it. The less inviting the place looked, the easier it would be for me to avoid contact with the outside world, as the DR had recommended. Standing there in the darkness for several minutes, my eyes gradually grew accustomed to the lack of light. While it was hardly ideal, it was sufficient to take a look around the house. The inside didn't seem to have received the same level of care as the outside. Everything was dusty and the air was many years stale. But I wasn't in a cleaning mood. So I dug through my luggage for a bunch of candles, lighting one with a flint. Stained glass window. Examining the large room I found myself in, I came across a stained glass window depicting an angel. The Archangel, after whom I'd been named, looked solemnly down upon me. Quite the joke. Two columns of evenly spaced pews ran the length of the room, all faced the multicolored window. I set the candlestick on a podium of some sort, which is when I realized this is a chapel. A flat length of silver bent in the middle was mounted to the pulpit's face. When I saw it, I knew exactly what it used to be. A cross. The pews weren't facing the stained glass, but the cross. Why though? It felt as though the mansion had been built up around the chapel rather than the opposite. I was perplexed as to why anyone would do that. But of course, there was no one around to sate my curiosity. Taking the candlestick back in hand, I made my way beyond the pulpit. There sat a small metal door. I pressed one hand against the cool surface and my heart leapt. It was abnormally cold. Although the door itself seemed perfectly normal, an inexplicable anxiety spread through me. It was a very unusual sensation. My instincts told me I should stay far, far away, and my heart told me it was my duty to see what lay beyond. What am I gonna find back there? Alright guys, I'm gonna end the video here for today. Thank you all for watching. This has been I don't even know how to describe it. I feel really bad for Michel. Like his backstory, man, is just and you know, I just realized I kind of got the order wrong. So when I was speaking earlier about Amy possibly finding out about his return, it probably already happened, because how else would the villagers have found out about his location? I mean, there's a possibility that they found out because of the survivor that he let get away. But there's also the chance that when his letter got intercepted, that he sent back to his family, you know, by Amy herself. And, you know, she probably gave word about his existence in that manner. Who knows? It could have gone either way. But anyways, guys, we'll continue again in the next one.